14 pages!
Because one of my favorite people on the internet, Dark
14 pages!
14 pages!
I don't think Ethan is a very good person, and his using a soundbite of one of the most traumatic, angry moments of my entire life for many, many years on his stream, perhaps 100 times, is a bit more than excessive and very sick.
How easy is your life that's one of the most traumatic moments of your entire life?
14 pages! 14
oh god, I love
pages,
that.
14 pages, painstaking detail.
He points to his other work that
Do you think individual YouTubers would benefit more or less if Asmongold wasn't a reactor? Not just the people he steals videos from, but everyone else in the market, as his goal is not just to steal viewers away from those he reacts to, but everyone in general, as he can just as easily steal someone away from any of us as he can the people he reacts to.
Hey, I'm not stealing views away from this creator, because the views that are watching me, we're never going to watch this creator to begin with. Speaking of locals, new WillyMacShow video. DarkviperAU has a meltdown after being debunked with facts. Oh boy. And he's threatening to sue people. He's doing all the things I just said would make Jake Weddle. That do make Jake Weddle a local. He is speed running to catch up to Dark Viper. Alright.
recently
Let's find out what's going on with DarkviperAU. Tell us what's up, WillyMacShow. Tell us what's up.
we've been having to wrangle some lolcows, first with Hassan's response, and now it's Dark Viper's turn. Back in April, I made a video giving my opinion on reaction content, Viper striking Chud's critical reaction of him, and his crippling victim complex whenever someone mildly disagrees or inconveniences him.
Why must my life suffer? Why must I suffer so with no one caring for so long?
Dark Viper has since released 2 videos, over 5 hours of content, repeating the same points that I've already covered, calling me a liar when I slightly misspeak. Viper said Ethan memeing him saying 14 pages has traumatized him.
It's 14 pages!
Because one of my favorite people on the internet, Dark
14 pages!
14 pages!
I don't think Ethan is a very good person, and his using a soundbite of one of the most traumatic, angry moments of my entire life for many, many years on his stream, perhaps 100 times, is a bit more than excessive and very sick.
How easy is your life that's one of the most traumatic moments of your entire life? Holy shit, first world problems, dude.
Is this traumatic for you? You're angry over nothing.
That is not at all what I said. You can note here that Willy's claim is that H3H3 spamming this clip for years was traumatic for me. But then he showed a clip where I specifically didn't say that. I called my interactions with Charlie years ago traumatic.
I said Ethan traumatized him when it was actually Charlie who did.
Oh,
My bad. He
okay.
says he would sue me if he thought he wouldn't get bad press for it.
I could sue these guys for defamation. Could spend
You
all
could.
the money.
You wouldn't win, but you could.
No way make back the money that I would spend so much of my time that I normally spend on making content and get a ruling that would certainly be in my favor, because they lied. Like, so many times did they obviously lie. But I'm gonna look bad the entire time.
I followed him on Blue Sky after seeing this, and he frames me as a stalker.
It's not that he follows friends, family, content and he enjoys. He's like, oh, I can stalk that DarkviperAU guy, that guy who blocked me. This is insane behavior. This is psychotic. This is not normal.
I followed your branded social media and you're acting like I showed up to your house. He probably thinks I'm assaulting him just for watching his video. This video is about friendships.
There was this one question he asked where he asked about like who I talk about. He asked who I talk to about this. Who do I bounce ideas off?
Okay. Is that Dark Viper doing that? Or is that one of them? Who's the fucking genius that added the dramatic music underneath this? That is Chef's Kiss. Oh my god. Just who did that? It's fucking great. It's fucking great.
I said to him, like I don't talk to anyone really, and then I'm a bit of a loner. I just assume that everyone
I don't
will
have any
eventually,
friends, guys.
work against my interests, unless there's an explicit reason for them not to. Just never really had anyone in my life that I can trust a lot. The closest thing I have now is my mods. Like, if I'm gonna talk to anyone about anything, it is my mods.
How can you have no one you trust? If there's literally nobody that you trust, there probably is something wrong with you, rather than everyone else. You might be kind of a schizo person. I mean, this is just also very sad to listen to.
It's why it's important to treat your friends well by getting them a fume.
Nice transition, Willie.
2025 is right around the corner. It is the perfect time to start building
Wonder
better
if that
habits.
actually
Because
works. Maybe it'll help me quit
smokeless,
vaping.
and non-addictive. It is just flavored air, the perfect gift for somebody trying to break their bad habit. I use it all the time. You've probably seen it in the background of some of my videos. I like to use it to prevent me from snacking throughout the workday. It is the best adult fidget toy. It's crafted from wood. It has this great weight and this really satisfying stand. It comes in a whole variety of flavors, so there's something for everyone. My favorite is crisp mint, so whenever I'm itching to reach for my bad habit, instead I just play with the fume, get a little stimulant of flavor, and I'm right back to work.
Willie
Whether
seemed
you're getting it as a
exceptionally
gift
good at
for a
that.
loved one or for yourself, Fume won't disappoint. So for this holiday season, give the gift of better habits by going to tryfume.com/WillyMac and use code WillyMac or scan the QR code to get a free topper when you sign up for the Journey Pack today.
Wait, it doesn't come with a
Fume
topper?
for sponsoring this video.
Whisper in my ear that you want some more, and I jizz in my pants.
Dark Viper is passionate
Damn.
about React content.
I love
He
this
made the
song.
same video now 9 times. He's mad that I partially cited his essay because that was just a draft script.
He seems blissfully unaware that I finished that draft and made it into a video. He has not seen all these videos.
I've watched all of his videos on this subject. His arguments largely remain the same. Not to mention this document was his magnum opus at the time. It's literally where the 14 pages meme comes from.
14 pages! 14
Oh, God, I love
pages,
that.
14 pages. Painstaking detail.
He points to his other work that he wants me to watch, acting like it had all this tangible data.
First video is, why am I here? What am I trying to prove? The second is the main bulk of my work, arguing for the foundations in which I build my arguments, making those arguments. I use a lot of data, I use some animations, and so this ended up being like my main thesis, if you will.
It's just not true. It's the same thing where he claims that people reacting to your videos are exploiting you.
Reactors are playing a game with our online creator ecosystem where everyone loses except the reactors themselves. The premise of this video is that React content is a system of exploitation that siphons an incalculable amount of money and exposure away from the hard-working into the pockets of the incredibly lazy.
None of what he just said was true, by the way. I get it. I react to stuff while I play video games, mainly out of boredom. I'm making no money on this, and nobody is ever going to pick to watch a reaction video, be it mine or Willie's or Tom's or whoever's. No one's ever going to pick the React version of a video to watch over the original version. They're not stealing views from the original. They're not stealing money from you. If anything, it's free fucking exposure. You're just bad that that exposure in your case is negative. That's all. That's all this is. You're just mad that you look bad. And you have no one to blame for that but yourself. And you keep doubling down on the things that make you look bad. Because most of the time, people watch a reaction video to some content after watching that content itself. Because, hey, I saw this crazy video, and now I want to see Charlie's reaction to it, or I want to see Tom's reaction to it. It's the online equivalent of having a cool, funny video you saw or a cool thing you saw and then on your phone, and then you're at work or at school and you show it to a friend and go, check this out, and you want them to see it too. They're probably going to want to watch it again on their own. It's just basically you're watching something you've already seen with a friend. That's all React content is. That's all it is. He's just, oh my God, the mantle just fucked me out of my shield. He's just mad that all the reactions to his content are negative. That's all.
Content on this website is lazy. Viper struck Chud because Chud reacted to a 9-minute video clipped from Viper's live stream. Chud's reaction was a 35-minute video clipped from his live stream. Both of you produced equally lazy content. He tries to show that React content is harmful by pulling up a creator named Josh's total view graph, and he applies the dips to Asman reacting to him.
The first 4 reactions seem to have done nothing at all, often preceding dips in viewership. In fact, the period where Josh's channel saw the greatest growth compared to the prior month was in May, and it had no reactions until the end of the month.
Jesus.
These late reactions actually occurred prior to a downturn in the channel, and these in the middle...
You know, for a while I thought he was just doing this for clout, and as long as he's freaking out about it, it's getting him views, so why would he not just keep this going as long as he could? But the fact that he's pulling up the graphs and he's doing this level of autistic homework on this shit tells me that he's not just doing it for views. He is legitimately angry at this. And I don't think it's just because React content equals bad, because I'm sure he's reacted to content himself. Hell, he's reacting to, you know, these streamers and these YouTubers by watching their content so he can criticize it himself. I don't think the sheer existence of React content is what makes him angry. I think it's the fact that all the content of his that gets reacted to is done so negatively. That's all it is. It's ego. His fifis are hurt.
He did nothing to change its course. This therefore makes it hard to attribute Josh's July success to the reactions, considering that they occur just as much on bad days as they do good.
All you can really interpret is that Asmon's reactions don't lead to a boost in viewership. But then he immediately states that this means Josh is losing views because of Asmon, when there is so many potential variables in this graph he ignores.
While it is hard to know for certain, comparing the day before and the day of a reaction, I'd estimate each reaction gained Josh less than 500 subscribers each. Especially while remembering that Josh is losing views and impressions to Asmongold's business model during this process, you can see that this is not very much.
Now, other creators have made similar assumptions when they post a video that underperformed. The Ackman and Internet Anarchist are both creators that have complained about reaction content negatively affecting their videos. But as we all know, correlation doesn't necessarily mean causation, and that's my problem with this whole dialogue.
Look, Ackman in particular, he was mad at reaction content too for a while. And then Destiny reacted to some of his stuff, and I think some other bigger streamers, and then he finally saw the boost in viewership that React content can get, and then he went on Destiny stream, I think, or some streams, and did debates with people, or actually talked to people, and he has since changed his view on that, to Ackman's credit. Ackman realizes that React content doesn't take away from the original. If anything, having a YouTuber or a streamer that people react to someone's videos just gets eyes on those videos. And if that person ends up being cool or has even if they're being made fun of by that streamer, if they can take the joke well and they lean into it, and that streamer ends up saying good things about him or ends up liking him and being like, hey, you know what, he turned out to be an okay guy even though he made shitty videos. And, they end up having a positive interaction in the end from it. All it does is get them new fans. Because I'm friends with because it makes it look like you and that streamer are now friends. So if that streamer approves of you, then their audience is going to approve of you. And they're going to end up watching you. That's how that's going to work.
On vibes and people's personal opinions, so I wanted to change that. Since my last Dark Viper video, I linked up with a data analyst named Glisset. We then had the Ackman and Internet Anarchist send us videos that both were and weren't reacted to. Glisset then divided the views per day by the maximum views per day to normalize each data set, and modeled each day as a normal distribution. The final result for Internet Anarchist is this.
So you see the black line there? That's the sort of the average view count of a reacted video. It's dimensionless view count, which effectively means that I've divided it by the maximum view count, which basically just makes each video more comparable to each other. Otherwise, you'd have all different lines going all about the place.
These shaded areas are the standard deviations. If the line is in the dark gray area, that is one standard deviation. The light gray is two. The line being within either means there isn't a statistical enough difference in views to say that React content is affecting the work. But if it leaves the shaded areas, that means it's statistically significant. A trend is being formed.
For Internet Anarchist, there's, I think, most significantly, or I suppose uniquely about Internet Anarchist sort of situation, is that there are regions where that pink line leaves the shaded area. I call that very loosely statistically significant.
When it leaves the shaded area, does that mean the video is doing better, or is it doing worse? What's this?
So if it was above the line, then it would be doing significantly better. But because it's below the line, the unreacted video is doing significantly worse than a reacted video.
When it comes to the Ackman, we get different results.
You can see in Ackman's case, this one here, it's a much sort of steeper curve than the case of Internet Anarchist, which makes this sort of analysis a little bit more difficult because noise is a little bit more prevalent, I'd say, when you're dealing with such sort of small numbers towards the end there. But if we sort of zoom in a bit, you can see that pink line always stays within the shaded region.
Yep.
Because it always stays within the shaded region, it's always within 2 standard deviations. And
so no
when
trend
it stays
is
within
formed,
that
just
dark
this
gray,
normal
sort of
behavior
shaded region, which it
for the
does
most
most of the time, that's within 1 standard deviation, and I'd say that that's perfectly normal. And based on that, there isn't really an impact of the reaction on the video. Yeah, I'd say
Be it positive or negative,
impact,
yeah.
it tends to be either in the short term, so say 10 to 30 days, or the medium term, so 30 to about 150 days.
So the conclusion is that there is no measurable impact for Actman, while Internet Anarchist does seem to benefit at times.
I'd say this at least speaks to, because a lot of this has been done on sort of commentary creators. I think
Yeah, it
this
also
at least
depends
gives
on
a decent idea of how
on the
things
creator they're
work in
reacting
the
to.
commentary space. I think I'd be
And the content they're reacting
they're
to.
fairly
There's a
confident
lot
in
of
saying
variables that have to be taken into account.
for the average commentary creator, the being reacted to doesn't really make a difference in your video performance. The only statistically significant finding we were sort of able to find
Subscribers, maybe?
was Internet Anarchist, and I'd limit that to saying that only in.
I'd want to see, does it generate like
could there be
subscribers who may
case,
be
that
notified of
there
new
is a
videos from that
significant
person? I mean, does it get
for
them
being
any
reacted to?
any
Now, is it
people who
this
like
for every creator and every
because
reaction?
sometimes people react to a video and it exposes that creator to a new audience, and that new audience may go look for that creator and subscribe to them, but they don't watch the video that was originally reacted to. So if you're only looking at that video, then you may not see much of a change. But they're like, hey, I don't need to watch that video. I saw this guy react to it, but I like what he reacted to. So I'm going to subscribe to this guy and see what he puts out next, and maybe I'll watch his videos in the future. You know, I'm subscribing, so he'll show up in my feed, but I don't need to see the video that, you know, he's currently doing here. I don't need to see that video. Oh my god, why do I have to lead it so far? Jesus.
Video on YouTube, but no, these are two creators' data. It's a relatively small sample size, and the genre of video as well as the quality of reaction may affect the videos differently. Point is, there's a ton of variables.
It's so funny because he fucking hated people reacting to his videos when we were talking to him.
Well, it is, and that's the power of an intuitive model. If it's no good sort of saying, "Oh, that makes sense, therefore it must be true." You really do have to
stuck
sort
between
of,
two of them now.
R/do the math. I'd say do this on a case-by-case basis. I mean, this is sort of standard procedure in sort of copyright. Always analyze things case by case. Conclusions here in the commentary space, probably not going to affect your video, but I would be interested in seeing sort of how this varies sort of space by space, and maybe seeing some data from some, you know, gaming channels like speed running or
yeah, it depends on the kind of content that they're
because
reacting to.
Obviously, I'd expect the dynamics to be slightly different because you're watching the videos for slightly different reasons.
So my point is, before we start a crusade against an entire genre of creators saying they're exploiting people, let's actually take some time and analyze some data.
Looking at the bigger picture here, this drama's been going on for 4 years. And it's still every now and then resurfaces. Eventually this is going to have to be sort of put to bed sort of thing, because I don't think it's going on for 4 years. It's not necessarily a productive use of everyone's time, especially when the big conclusion here, I think, is that it doesn't matter and it doesn't make a difference. Reaction videos don't look like they have any sort of impact.
If anything, I would say that Dark Viper is probably the one who's come out in the good because of reaction content. I wouldn't know who he was, and I think most of the, you know, fans, the React content watchers like myself, or commentary community watchers like myself, wouldn't even know who DarkviperAU was if commentary channels weren't reacting to his videos. Like, yeah, we view him negatively, but we watch his clips, and I guarantee there's probably a large portion of that commentary community audience who are hate watching him just to see if they can get good clips to farm to show to their favorite content subreddit, their commentary subreddit or whatever, to go show to creators to see if they can get them to react to it. So if anything, I mean, that's still more views for him. Is it an embarrassing way to get views? Sure, but views are views, man, and views equal money. It's how you're able to do that for a living. So I'd say, if anything, I want to see Dark Viper's trends to see if he got a little boost in viewership. Maybe not on one specific video, but I'd want to see like trends over time. Like, this is when I was first watched by Moist Critical, and here's my subscriber count after that. Here's the next 10 videos after that compared to the 10 videos before it. Yeah, like, that's what I'd want to see.
Impact video's performance, and therefore, you know, I'm not really sure why people care quite so much.
Bro, you've been covering this topic for 3 years. How is this the first data analysis that's been done? He acts like this is a case-closed argument for him. I bring up my own personal experience with React content, and he compares it to playing slot machines. My personal experience, because that's all we can go off of.
What do you mean that's all we can go off of? This man is literally all we have as personal anecdotes. There is a reason why we judge systems in their totality, not simply like people's interactions with them, but thinking about the process by which they do things. A person can walk up to you and say, hey, I want $1,000 on a slot machine. You can look that person dead in the eye and say, that's great, but slot machines are a terrible way to make money. And they go,
Yeah, but slot machines have a predetermined odd of winning. Like, you can statistically know when they're going to pay out or how often they're going to pay out, etc. Like, they have, by law, they have to list the odds of your winning on said slot machine. Reacting to content, that's a case-by-case basis. There's so many variables that you can't account for that aren't there in a slot machine. Like, the type of content being reacted to, the content creator, the genre they're in, the audience that's watching it, the type of reaction that it's getting from the comment from the person reacting to it, how big that person's audience is, etc., etc. None of that's there in a slot machine. It's just slot machine is gambling. Simple as that. You know, slot machine has this odds of winning. Simple as that. This comparison makes no fucking sense.
he goes, but Frank over there won 10 grand. Yes, that's amazing, but still a terrible way to make money.
Slot machines are statistically rigged by design. That's a fact. You have no facts. You have no
there
data
we go.
suggesting that React content is the same way. I was going to make a video whether Dark Viper responded to me or not because I want this dialogue to be productive. Let's go get a data analyst, talk to Glisset, see how they mapped it, and compare Josh's reacted to his unreacted to video so we can build a data set.
He does put in quite a lot of effort in terms of trying to assign numbers to these things. I just think when he's tried to assign numbers, they haven't necessarily been, they don't really mean anything. So he goes on, for instance, total view count. Well, total view count is entirely dependent on how old the video is. It doesn't necessarily
there's a lot
tell
of
you
factors
anything
there
about how a React video has actually impacted the video. And then we sort of saw slightly more sophisticated techniques when we went to sort of Nakrit's sort of analysis. To be fair to Nakrit, I mean, it slightly worked in the cases that he analyzed, but when you sort of broaden that theory, it starts to break down.
Well, here's the cool part, though. You've explained how you've done it. You've said that it really isn't that complicated if people want to get into it. It's a high school level thing. So if Dark Viper wants to, he could go collect data. I got a ton of creators that would love to participate. If he wants to do the
compare
same
notes,
he could test it himself.
Certainly. So I mean, sort of the more stuff we analyze, the better picture we're actually having.
Yeah, there's no such thing as too much data here.
Looking at graphs and going on vibes, that's not rigorous. That's
how science works. It's a peer review.
Basic maths.
But Dark Viper's problem with React content isn't that it necessarily hurts the original video. It's that it takes away viewers from all.
It's embarrassing him.
Unrelated videos.
Again, to be clear, the lion's share of what I talk about has nothing to do with the impact of the re-upload on the original. And what time I spend on that is largely because other people care about it. We have YouTube with the best algorithm that's ever been made for distributing content ever. And there are no reactors currently in this hypothetical world. So viewers go to YouTube, and the smartest algorithm that has ever existed tries to direct them to content that they want to watch and will watch long term. 100% of the exposure on the platform is going to creators. I ask you, how much of this exposure should we take away and give to reactors to grow them an audience? 100%? So that they can then act as a middleman for that exposure to creators. The click-through rate from YouTube itself to a video is like 5%. A click-through rate from a reactor to the original video is like 0.5% and confers no watch time. And it has all the other added costs that people have to spend time watching the reaction video itself, limiting the amount of content they can even watch from creators.
I get you, but you're discounting that the viewers...
Yeah, you've got no proof of this whatsoever. Like, that's not how it works. It's not like YouTube isn't going to show them other content because they watch React content. And it's not like people who watch React content don't also go look at the other content. I say that as a guy whose feed is filled with React content, and it will oftentimes show me the channels that they're reacting to. I have never watched many of the channels that it recommends me in my life, but because a reaction channel that I watched reacted to it, and a bunch of the people that watch that channel also went and watched that video. That's one of the ways that YouTube recommends things. It's like, fans of this channel also watch this thing, so I'm going to put it in your feed to see if you are like the rest of the fans and would also like it. Like, you have no, like, why are you acting like views on YouTube are finite? It's not like because a person watched a thing that that view was taken away from other things. People watch more than, like, people can watch multiple things. Like, you're not battling, like, I hate this idea that you're battling for eyeballs on YouTube. There are billions of people on YouTube. And a lot of those eyeballs watch multiple kinds of content. There is no world in which, like, people don't, you run out of views on YouTube because they're busy watching other stuff. Now there's nobody left to watch your stuff. That's just not the way it works, man.
Count the Reactor is a real creator. Hassan's viewers don't want to watch me. They want to watch Hassan respond to me. They want Tom's or Nick's or H3's or Asmon's opinion. If they edited their reactions down, I'm not convinced it would have any measurable impact on the creator economy like Viper implies. Maybe it would, but without running tests or getting data, you're just throwing out theories.
Each of these.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, we're there for that person's opinion and reaction to a thing. And maybe they react to a thing we like and we go watch that original thing, but that's only to see if after watching the original thing, maybe I like it as much as this creator did, or maybe I have the same opinion that they did. But yeah, we are watching them for their opinion. He just doesn't get it, man.
YouTubers and Asmongold are attempting to attract to themselves viewers from the same general finite markets. Who is more likely to end up with the most at the end of the week? Do you think individual YouTubers would benefit more or less if Asmongold wasn't a reactor? Not just the people he steals videos from, but everyone else in the market, as his goal is not just to steal viewers away from those he reacts to, but everyone in general, as he can just as easily steal someone away from any of us as he can the people he reacts to.
You can't steal things that we're never gonna, like, you can't steal money that hasn't been made. Like, it's like stealing $1 million from a homeless man. And he goes, well, I could have made $1 million if that guy hadn't stole this from me. This thing might have been worth $1 million. Like, you're stealing hypothetical money. That's like someone claiming that you stole $1 million from them because you stole a collectible that they think will one day be worth $1 million. It's not worth it now, and you got no proof that it'll ever be worth that in the future. You just think it will. He's not stealing views away from people because those people were never going to watch those videos to begin with. They were not exposed to that creator. They were never going to be shown that creator. Those weren't views that creator was ever going to get to begin with. So he's not stealing views away from them. If anything, he's giving them potential new views. Oh my God. How are you so bad at this?
And to that, I don't care. If your video gets beat out by a React creator and your video isn't the one being reacted to, womp womp. I can't believe I have this opinion. Don't care.
Again, his argument. I don't care. That's it. And newsflash,
I mean,
every
you should
single
use
situation
the,
where a negative externality
the argument that I
caused,
just gave.
impacting someone outside the original exchange, there is always going to be people who don't care. In fact, with
I want to see his reaction to someone giving the
mankind, someone hasn't
like, how has no one given him the argument that I just gave, which was hey, I'm not stealing views away from this creator because the views that are watching me were never going to watch this creator to begin with.
But you don't even know if they were harmed.
It doesn't matter. Your indifference to harm doesn't make it less impactful or potentially less meaningful to other people.
Bro, it's me giving my opinion. We don't have the data to discuss this further in a productive way, so I don't care. I am agreeing to disagree with you, something you should learn how to do too. He frames me as the evil man, exploiting other creators for personal gain.
I want him to respond to mine because I want his response to that argument that those views were never going to be given to that creator to begin with. I can't steal views they never had.
It's a garbage perspective.
But I don't even make that kind of React content. In Viper's world, I am the ultimate victim, constantly getting exploited. My videos compete with Chud's, Nick's, and Tom's reactions all the time. I have the most to gain from reaction content being banned. But since I demand evidence of harm, that makes me evil for some reason. Apparently, I'm the Uncle Tom of React content. We pretty much maxed out the conversation when it comes to React content, so I want to turn our attention to the eternal victim that is Dark Viper.
Like, wow! I'm a troubled soul. I'm living in a studio flat that's covered in mold.
There are times where he says I'm taking him out of context, and then he plays a longer version of the same clip, and it has the same exact context. All React content makes you a bad person, not that it's necessarily illegal.
You are taking that guy's 500 hours of labor in order to take all these impressions, and therefore viewers, from every other content creator. If you were to disappear everyone would be better off. However, all original content creators have just as much right to be in this space as anyone else. Reactors don't. I'm pretty sure that's
shot in the back.
cropped up.
The
Everyone
creator
just
saw my
hides.
reaction to it and was really disappointed. They didn't appreciate it, and I totally understood where they're coming from because I didn't really add anything to it. I didn't really react to it, so to them it felt like I was just re-uploading their content on my stream.
Because that's what you're doing. Even when you pause and speak, the amount of effort you're putting in is a tiny, tiny fraction of what the original content creator put in place.
Doesn't
You
matter.
spend 500 hours making a YouTube video, you spend 15 minutes watching it, and you believe you deserve to profit off that $500 worth of labor? As a multi-millionaire, you don't believe you owe that guy one single fucking dollar?
No, he doesn't.
On what basis? Without his labor, you'd have to turn off your stream because
So if you want to know what basis, the Ethan Klein lawsuit where he got sued by a channel he reacted to, the H3 lawsuit, which he won, where it is now legally defined what counts as transformative, as fair use, and pausing, like I just did, to react to someone, like I'm doing right now, and adding my commentary is valuable, is fair use, and is a new form of content in and of itself. The amount of work put into said content doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. There is far less work that goes into an episode of the Kardashians than goes into like a DC or a Marvel movie, but doesn't matter. What matters is people want to watch it, so people watched it. Like, are you kidding me? All right. Anyway, that's why he's really mad. That's what this is about. It's because he thinks that his content, which by the way, your content isn't highly edited content either, buddy. You film yourself playing GTA 5 and then you talk about things. The only difference between you and React content is instead of the thing they're talking about being a video game, the thing they're talking about is you. He's just mad at the amount of work that goes into it and the fact that someone's making more money than him with less effort.
you'd have nothing else to watch. You'd have less uploads on your channel. Those people who aren't on your stream would go to other content creators. The people who can no longer watch your React content would watch other...
No, they wouldn't. They would still be watching Moist Critical. Those people will, if he doesn't have any content to react to, they'll watch him play a video game. Or they'll watch him tell stories. Or they'll just hang out with him. Because they're there for him. You understand? They aren't there to see what thing he's going to react to next. They're there to watch him react to things. Or just watch him be himself. They just want to hang out with him. They're there because they like him. Not because they like him reacting to things.
The content creators,
he doesn't
wherever
get
they
it.
would be found. You are taking that guy's 500 hours of labor in order to take all these impressions and therefore viewers from every
He's
other
so
content
wrong
creator.
on so many
if you were to
levels.
disappear, everyone would be better off. And that is the case actually for any content creator. There'd be less competition in the marketplace. If all content creators disappeared except me, you can better believe my viewership would go up. However, all original content creators have
wouldn't.
just as much right to be in this space as anyone else. Reactors don't. All reactors do is sit and steal from the original content creators. They siphon exposure via impressions to themselves, keep people on their channels instead of other people's, and they flick a few every once in a while to someone else. So that section also is deceptively edited.
No, it wasn't. That's the same thing. I'm arguing with Autismo. I ask again, what context was changed? Viper is constantly calling me a liar. His examples are pointing out when I misspeak.
14 pages!
14 pages! He's using a soundbite of one of the most traumatic, angry moments of my entire
I'm gonna start
life.
using
It's
that soundbite on my
14
stream, 'cause
pages!
fuck this
So
guy.
here you can see an example where Willy will just play something and then directly lie about what was just said. While he is taking these clips out of context, not explaining why they exist or what the point of them was, even in that clip I said, one of the most traumatic moments of my life. He's using a soundbite of one of the most traumatic, angry moments of my entire life. He says, most traumatic moment of his life, which is not what I said.
He's arguing with the text on the
Ah,
screen. He
he's
says I'm
arguing
lying
semantics.
because Ethan didn't traumatize him. Charlie did.
That is not at all what I said. You can note here that Willy's claim is that H3H3 spamming this clip for years was traumatic for me.
He's arguing
But then he
semantics.
showed a clip
Jesus
where I specifically
Christ.
didn't say
This guy
that.
might
I
be,
called my
yeah, he
interactions
might
with
actually be
Charlie years
autistic.
ago
I know we joke
traumatic,
about it a lot.
and they
but-
were.
Don't admit that, bro. The point is that this shouldn't traumatize you. I point out his history of spurging out
Yeah,
over
he's missing
nothing,
the
and
point.
he brings up dates. Like, yeah, Matt, the dates are why people are calling you cringe.
One of the hallmarks of Willy's video, and that showcases him as a grifter, is he uses out-of-context clips that have no relevance to anything all throughout the video, spamming them, as I say. It doesn't matter how old the clip is, Willy knows that if he doesn't say what date it is, people will just assume it happened very recently. This clip, for example, is 4 years old, but he is even more dishonest than that. He uses clips far older, 6, 7 years old in this video.
The point is to show that throughout your career, you turn small disagreements and inconveniences into massive crash out moments for yourself. You have a pattern of behavior. Ethan plays a meme soundbite on his podcast, and he's a sick individual.
14 pages! As someone who has been incessantly harassed by him for years in front of thousands, he is one of those truly deserving of
None of that is harassing you,
I don't know
dude.
how sick of an individual you
God.
have to be to do something like this. Like, if he was using it in some wholesome way, or shouting me out in
I
some
think that
positive
was
way,
pretty wholesome.
fine, but
Oh,
he's
you're mad
just
that it's
using it
that
to
he's
mock
not
me.
Good. Rydog trolls a speedrunning
dick
forum,
riding
and
you.
Matt is suffering.
Why must my life suffer? Why must I suffer so with no one caring for so long?
Because you need to log off the internet and go touch
This
grass.
man has gone out of his way to insult me at every turn to make my life worse.
Also, it wasn't out
I
of
have
his
not
way.
felt
It was
depression
2 minutes
like
worth of
I have
content on his
experienced
channel.
because of Rydog since I was a teenager. The thought of living in this world where a single man can cause me so much suffering and people defend his right to do it, I just don't want to live in this world anymore.
What did he do? He lied to the
Jesus
moderators,
Christ!
he removed his own speedruns, shut down a category, and doesn't turn on his FPS limit. What a bad guy. Matt's like, but this guy pulled a coup. It was a reasonable response.
This clip is so old, it's entirely possible that someone lied to Willy and Willy just repeated that lie because he just doesn't care what's true. Maybe he himself isn't lying. He might just be ignorant in this specific case. The person he's speaking about is Rydog, who was so disruptive as a non-speedrunner of GTA 5 at the time that we made an entire Discord specifically so we could have moderation tools to deal with him. He was literally the first person ever banned in that Discord, and he has stayed banned for 7 years. The man quite literally pulled a coup and got every moderator removed from the speedrun.com leaderboards. Do you know how many coups there have been in the history of speedrunning? Probably not many.
Bro, that's hilarious. He can't even admit one time.
My
that
God,
he
he's acting like it,
speedrunner
like the
named
man took over a
Roman Baron
country.
Matt over the rules, and Matt is losing sleep over it. He made a 3-part video series because a speedrunner named Friendly Baron shit talked how he ran the forum.
Frankly, I'm afraid I'll come off as petty at this point, but I literally can't fucking sleep. I need more closure.
I'm Dark Viper. I'm 5 seconds behind after 4 minutes. I'm gonna reset.
Where the fuck's the chopper?
Dead. Gonna reset like Dark Viper.
This is keeping you up.
But I keep getting
You've
70
become a
cents.
running joke.
He keeps being an asshole. I don't like Baron. He seems to be a terrible person.
Over this? He didn't do anything. I said a speedrunner beat Matt in a category, so he banned him from his Twitch chat and cries on Reddit about how his life is worse. I have known for quite some time that other people were doing runs off this category. People that could run from dawn till dusk. People that had no reason to be entertaining, had fewer obligations, fewer distractions. Sharing information with these people is almost entirely one-sided, or at least everything I developed for the run was public knowledge. But the inverse was not true. The result was that anyone running alongside me was getting far more information. What sort of response did you expect from me? A hug? Your success does me no favors. On the contrary, it makes my life considerably worse, with the added fun that I will have to field questions about this.
This guy needs to
Society
go
is
out
a
and
give
touch
and take
grass.
relationship, and I've experienced a massive take with no give.
What?
And people seem to be confused
What did that miss?
as to why I'm not a
How far
fan
do
of
I
it.
have to leave
When I
this
say
shot?
he has made my life worse, measurably so. I was the only person who could have benefited significantly from doing this first. But not only that, failing to do this would now impact the rest of my career.
Matt thinks the missing context that will vindicate him is
I'm
that
lobbing
Unnamed had
spitwads
speedrun
at
a
him.
category before beating him.
Again, it's amazing. He said so few words, but every single word is wrong. He knows nothing about me, or my career, or the people involved. The single most crucial detail of that drama from 4 years ago, yes, this is again another 4-year-old drama, is that Unnamed wasn't a speedrunner, and it certainly had nothing to do with him or anyone else being better than me at speedrunning. I had not been competitive in speedrunning 4 years. By May 2021, when Unnamed beat No Damage in GTA 5 before me, I shit you not, I was not even in the top 10 for any main speedrunning category of GTA 5. But again, even in this group of speedrunners that was better than me, Unnamed wasn't in that group because he wasn't a speedrunner. Like, when literally every detail given by Willy about a drama is incorrect, do I really need to spend the time to explain what that drama was about?
He's like arguing that the category they were competing in wasn't technically a speedrun, therefore my argument is invalid. It's semantics. He says Unnamed forgave him, so it's fine.
When did we squash the beef? Or there wasn't really any beef. I mean, you've always been chill and I've just
I think
grouchy arsehole.
after you completed one hit KO yourself, I just like
There was definitely
DM'd
beef.
You, yo, congrats, but can you unban me?
I think I said it multiple times. You were a very stoic dude. You didn't Your only interest seemed to be that you didn't want to be banned.
This says more about Unname's character than yours. This guy can't even play a game of Among Us without making it about himself.
Runs around the entire f***ing map to come to O2, and I'm like, I had nothing to say. I was literally speechless. I did not speak that entire time because I was so confused why we were starting the game. I have never been this mad at a person the entirety of my life.
I apologize. I'm still a little.
God damn!
If you don't even know how to win the game, why are you playing?
You guys say I rage at games.
After yelling at him, Viper
I rage at
realized
games,
Scott will
not
be
people.
unbanned. It was not simply that I was having
Jesus
a bad day. I was
Christ.
close to tears at the beginning of the stream. I felt impressively down, perhaps due to a lack of caffeine as I was kicking soft drink. I came to the one thing I love at the moment, Among Us. To have it ruined by a guy who didn't just play badly, he literally didn't play. He'd then make a follow-up video saying that he has no friends.
A lot of my life, I've wanted to play board games. Board games always look so enjoyable, but I had no friends to play them with. And the friends that I did have made it even worse, that they would play board games and not invite me.
I wonder why.
It takes something like half an hour to fill the lobby. Like, you guys may think I'm super famous and popular and shit, but there's not a heap of people who want to play with me. As a matter of fact,
there's
I
a
once
reason
more
for
asked
that.
A Discord full of other streamers if they wanted to play with me, and I got no responses. Again, I think this may be the third or fourth time I've tried. I've left that server now because it just brought back all the memories of my fucking friends not inviting me to play games. It just brought up those feelings. I don't like those feelings. I have people I'm playing with who are experienced in the game because that's
Why
why
are
I
the
requested.
bullets
And so I
going?
kill a guy and the game doesn't end. I'm sitting there like, the game's not ending. The game is not ending. Why is the game not ending? I'm not a person who is lost for words very often, but my body from the person I killed was found, and they accused me of the kill, and I literally didn't speak. I was so just the weight of still being in the game was still washing over me. I was just having that bad of a day, and I'm like, is this it? Is this me one day doing something for myself, and this is the situation I find myself in? And so the game plays out for another 10 minutes, and he's sitting there just going, I can't believe we're still in this game. And we end up losing. And I go off at this guy. I was just so fucking pissed that my one chance to save my day, to make myself feel good, is ruined by this guy who joined a game that he clearly should not have been in because he mustn't be experienced at the game, which was the very thing that I requested.
How does he get experience if he doesn't?
I timed him out. And then I realized, like, I don't want to see this person ever again. I don't want to remember this bad day. I want to move on with my life, smooth sailing, so I ban this person. They were in a lobby they should not have been in, explicitly, and made no mention of their inexperience of the game, clearly deserving of a ban. This day sucks. It is the culmination of
Go
every
outside,
negative thing in my life,
touch grass,
and reinforces in me that I can't have a day to myself. I don't deserve shit.
You can by leaving the computer.
Editing, people.
Go to the park. Have a day to yourself.
Hashimoto's disease.
So something like a month prior, I had been diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease. My particular condition is called hypothyroidism. Tiredness, puffy face, hoarse voice, muscle aches, tenderness, and stiffness.
Nobody cares. He's like, Scott, forgive me so I can't be goofed on anymore.
Scott, of course, forgave me immediately because it was really obvious that I wasn't doing well, and so he didn't take it personally. Even now, 4 years later, Scott still comes round to the stream.
That says more about Scott's character than yours. I talked about how he stopped being friends with Carl Jobs because Carl took a sponsorship from Asmon's PC company. And since Asmon makes React content, Carl essentially took blood money. Carl says, yes, this is the reason. I find it to be unhealthy and not a good thing. Carl would delete this tweet and apologize for leaking the email.
Willy, of course, being dishonest, doesn't say that what he's showing on screen is a deleted tweet that Carl deleted for publicly apologizing for bringing our disagreement public.
But that doesn't change that it happened. The email is insane.
What are you talking about?
I don't have people close to me by choice. Friendship requires trust, and I don't give that out unless out of necessity. I've spent most of my life being kicked by those I've given even a measure of trust to. Regardless of whether you personally felt it meaningful, you broke the small measure of trust I gave you. A currency more rare than anything on this earth. I am under no obligation to associate with you anymore. Matt's response to me pointing out how ridiculous this is to say Willy says friends. I only broke up with one friend due to React content. He ended relationships with friends over this.
It is a skill that Willy can say so few words, but say so many false things at the same time. For a start, I don't know if Willy thinks Carl is multiple people, but what do you mean by friends? Like, even when he wants to slam dunk own me, he can't help but lie.
I'm talking to a grammar Nazi, man. His defense boils down to Carl forgave him.
The predictable ended up happening. We went to PAX and we're like, hey, sorry about all that. We're good, right? And it's like, yeah, that's cool.
That says more about Carl than it does about you.
Again.
You send an unhinged email and Carl apologizes. That's insane. You broke up with him for taking a sponsorship while he was getting sued. You can't have nice things when you're friends with Matt. It just seems like people keep having to forgive you. Does the context in these clips change anything? Does it make him look better or does it make him look more unhinged? He gets on me for calling his essay a manifesto.
It wasn't a manifesto. It didn't even contain all my arguments or ideas about reaction content. It's called How the React Grift Works. It was in no way, shape, or form focused on morality.
All of your videos and your essays are about why React content is morally wrong. I don't know how anyone could come away with another conclusion. And he still has this eternal victim mindset, even through our beef. I get sent a clip of him saying he would sue me for defamation if he thought he wouldn't get pushback.
Have you considered defamation laws exist for a reason? It might not be a good look, but the reason these channels keep doing it is because no one is willing to take them to court over it. I could sue these guys for defamation.
Couldn't find any help.
Money to no way make back the money that I would spend so much of my time that I normally spend on making content and get a ruling that would certainly be in my favor because they lied. Like, so many times did they obviously lie. But I'm gonna look bad the entire time. It's gonna inspire those not being sued to lie even more to make money, and I'm not gonna get anything out of it. I'm just gonna look worse even if I'm doing the right thing. Doesn't defamation require proof you suffer financial or mental harm as a result of the defamation? When I was talking to that lawyer, I did say that would be one of the harder things to do.
Let's see if they fixed random.
In abstract, obviously there's going to be both, but pointing to a line going down would be a lot harder.
So I followed him on my already existing Blue Sky account. Well, now I'm a stalker.
I woke up this morning and found out that he has joined Blue Sky, and you would expect that he would follow his friends, family, and content that he enjoys. But no, that's not what Willy does, because Willy is a psychotic stalker. So the first thing he does is follows me. Again, it's not that he follows friends, family, content he enjoys.
I followed other people first. It's right there.
He's like, oh, I can stalk that DarkviperAU guy, that guy who blocked me. This is insane behavior. This is psychotic. This is not normal. I have been in this business now for 12 years. I've been in the commentary community to some degree for all that time. I've had feuds with dozens of people, arguments back and forth with videos. I have never seen anyone as deranged as WillyMacShow is. That's just not with people I've interacted with. Other people watching their feuds as well. I've never seen anyone act as WillyMacShow has.
You've never seen someone follow you on social media? He acts like I followed his mom on Facebook or showed up to his house. How is he always the victim?
I've never seen anyone act as WillyMacShow has.
Man.
Lying 4 months, spamming tweets 4 months, stalking on other platforms, making old accounts on platforms to stalk further. I'm not following him. I don't care what he says. I only find out about things he says when people DM them specifically to me.
Same, dude. I don't have most accounts that follow him. He's just making that up. Even in these tweets, he shows us talking trash back and forth. He has me blocked and he would respond to my tweets talking shit, but I couldn't respond back or even see it. We have both been antagonizing each other. It truly is the world's dorkiest beef. Two guys fighting over React content. No one's in danger. Matt, I don't hate you. I just think you're cringe and dramatic, and you aren't beating those allegations anytime soon. Plays a clip of Chud talking about Viper's hypocrisy when viewing Sniper Wolf's content versus Asmon Gold's, and he frames this as Chud isn't adding anything. He's just acting confused.
I'm sure there are people out there who think watching a video for the first time and being like, I don't understand. Chat, help. I gotta pause this video. Chat, what's he talking about here? I don't understand. I've done literally no research into this video. Like, I've never seen it before, but like, what's going on here, chat? Like, I'm sure some people think that's valuable stuff because it's adding to the runtime.
That clip is valuable because he's showing how your argument isn't making sense. He's literally adding value to the video.
Like, if you remember, Sniper Wolf wasn't mentioned in my first essay. And
what he doesn't understand is that, like, commentary is adding value to it. Like, I hate that none of these like guys who like have this argument with them ever bring up that the added content often listed when you purchase a movie, purchase a Blu-ray, or hell, even back on the VHS days, anytime you've purchased a movie, bonus content, the added content that adds value to the fact that you're paying, full price for this movie as opposed to renting it. The reason you would want to own it instead of rent it back in the day was director's commentary track, where you can watch the movie again a second time, but this time with the director of the movie talking during the entire fucking movie, pausing it to add context. They're just doing that. That has been a thing forever, and it has added value to every single movie that it's ever been sold on. Just like these add commentary, and they add value to whatever video that they're on. And people, just like people watch the movie and then watch the commentary track because they really like the movie and they'd really like to hear commentary about it while they watch it again, do that with YouTube content. They watch the original video and then they want to watch their favorite reactor, watch it and get commentary on it. There's entire YouTube channels that make commentary tracks for movies that you can put on and start at the start of the movie and get their commentary for the movie while watching the movie as like companion pieces. If anything, a reactor's content is just that, a companion piece to the original content. God, why does no one make that argument to him? Because I really want to hear him beat that argument. Spoiler alert, he fucking can't.
Had no intention of mentioning her in it. And even Charlie said, why is Sniper Wolf not mentioned here? And I said explicitly, it's because technically what she makes is after the facts. And I said, maybe I will make a video on Sniper Wolf.
Wait, what? What does that mean? Sniper Wolf is taking people's TikToks, collecting them together, barely reacting to it, and making that her own content. Because it's not a live reaction. What difference does that make? Why does that make a difference?
It doesn't.
There is no difference. It's a legitimate example of how
There is
critical
no
React
difference.
content is real content that stands on its own. I would tell you to watch the video and come to your own conclusion, but Viper struck it down. Matt has this conspiracy where he thinks the only reason I made a video on him is because I'm friends with Chud. I can't possibly have my own opinions on React content or what qualifies as fair use.
It's important to remember why Willy was making this video in the first place. He wanted to defend his fellow drama associate, Chud Logic. So WillyMacShow is one of these cartoonish grifters who is friends with Chud Logic. In fact, as I found out recently, he is in a group of drama YouTubers that all work together to like collaborate and push the same message and attack the same people. Of course, WillyMacShow,
like you guys have meetings
association, even when he talks about
to decide who you're gonna attack next. Oh my god.
When I started making that video back in March, I don't think I've ever talked to Chud Logic before. Yes, we were in a group chat, but there was like 15 to 20 people in there. I haven't been a part of it in months. I don't know everybody who's in it, and I'm certainly not friends with all of them. It's the ultimate conspiracy people clutch onto when they get called out.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching Alex Jones.
Like you guys have meetings to attack people.
Chud in his community of getting him doxxed on a forum. His proof is Chud talking smack after Viper tried to strike his video.
If you strike someone, even if it's 100% justifiable, legally and ethically, there'll be the WillyMacShows going, this guy trying to turn off my free faucet of content? How dare they? Dig up anything from any point in this person's history that I can make a video on. I will take this person down.
I will find any possible clip of them looking terrible, mock it and laugh at it. That is now the fucking plan. This could be one of the most pathetic specimens I've ever come across. This is brilliant. Anyway, Jesus Christ, man. I'm going to spend my whole stream. Hating on top.
He's so easy to hate.
What we're going to do is we're going to spend the next 3 weeks digging up every single embarrassing thing that Dark Viper's ever done publicly and making content out of it. No, I'm not really going to do that, okay?
In the same way,
I will.
Even though Chud was entirely legally and ethically in the wrong, and he knew that, Chud still made these demands of his viewers that made a thread about me and doxed me to thousands of people.
Any proof of that, Sherlock? Chud's video came out November 15th, 2023. Viper's Kiwi Farms thread didn't come out till March 23rd, 2024. Over 4 months later. You're prescribing a doxing allegation to his community based on nothing. It's crazy. He tries to frame me as a clout-hungry fallen fan who was trying to buddy up with him.
Willy is a person who is
I was a fan of, and now I'm not.
In the traditional sense of the word, where it's not just an insult, he actually just follows people that have a lot of viewership and tries to buddy up to them in order to get views. And so the reason he followed me on Twitter and engaged with my stuff so much was in an attempt to...
Willy gets more views than Chud. He just does. Maybe not live, but Willy doesn't live stream. Like, are you talking about live streams? Because Willy's videos typically get more views than Chud's live streams or Chud's videos. Like, nothing he's saying is making any sense.
To get views from me. When he found out that he couldn't get views from me because I didn't respect him, as was in this video, he seemed to conclude, at least that's the only explanation I can think of that explains why this video, that he could just lie about me.
This is based on me replying to 12 of his tweets over the course of 2 years.
Like, I talk to very few people. I trust so few people. To have me reach out to talk to you for any reason is a very, very strange thing.
I don't care. I don't feel honored by your DMs. Your ego is massive.
WillyMac didn't know much about me. I thought he knew at least something. Because for the previous, like, year and a half, 2 years, he had liked 50 of my tweets, had responded to like a dozen of them. Of all the creators that I knew at the time, he had engaged with my Twitter the most in a positive way.
And I took that personally. That's 6 tweets a year, man. One of them is you tweeting at my video, calling it the video of the year. The others were general pop culture stuff. It's so parasocial of him to think we had this relationship.
As it turns out, Willy is a person who is a clout chaser in the traditional sense of the word, where it's not just an insult, he actually just follows people that have a lot of viewership and tries to buddy up to them in order to get views.
Yeah, that's why I sided with Chud Logic, for clout. What's funny is I remember him actually tweeting out a bunch of my videos, complimenting them, but when I went back on Twitter, I found that he deleted all of his tweets before December of last year, meaning he screenshotted these for this video and then deleted everything so I couldn't go back and check. Wow, such an honest guy.
If I see you waving, my hand goes in the air, even though you're waving to that guy over there.
It's obvious at this point that Viper doesn't know how to navigate a social situation. He really has that
because he doesn't leave his computer.
He's confused why Chud would be roasting him for putting a strike on his channel.
Here's just a small selection of how Chud acted reasonably when his video got taken down, entirely justifiably.
And pay money, pay his good money to get this fucking retarded bitch to file this stupid takedown request, okay?
That sounds reasonable.
Total idiots, total fucking clown show over at that fucking lawyer place. That this lawyer would say this. It has to be that Dark Viper's been like, can you just please make sure that Chud doesn't get this, because it'll just make more content about me. Correct! Here I am, Dark Viper! Let's go!
Yeah, let's fucking
I'm
go!
Here, baby. I'm here making more content about you, little wretch.
He's not gonna sue him.
The last thing you wanted to happen.
You had your lawyer ask not to let Chud know about your correspondence with YouTube. You struck his channel attacking his livelihood over a 1,000-view video. Of course he's going to roast you for this. How are you surprised? Sometimes Chud's just joking and Viper's using it unironically.
And if you saw the footage I put in there of Chud Logic, the man's an unhinged maniac.
Yes! I am a fucking unhinged maniac! That's right, motherfucker! I'm a fucking unhinged maniac! You've got me exactly right. That is what I am. I'm totally fucking unhinged, okay? I'm a total maniac! Ah!
Or he thinks it's hypocritical that I don't care that Tom told someone to kill themselves on Twitter.
Chud Logic, Nicholas, Dadrio, Turkey Tom.
Dadrio.
People have endless actual controversies that are true, that any of the things that Willy accuses me of in his video, if he actually cared about them, if he actually thought these were negative things worthy of, telling the world or getting up in arms about, he wouldn't associate with any of these people. Kendrick versus Drake for unemployed people. This washed-up liberal YouTuber, Turkey Tom, just spent 7 minutes dick-riding my account because he wants to be relevant again. I've never even heard of him until today. You are a tard who reposts out-of-context clips all day begging for attention, and then you cry when people shun you for it. Find a rope. Like, I don't think I've ever
Find a rope.
heard on Twitter that I've told someone to kill themselves.
I'm stealing that one, Tom.
I don't think that's ever happened in my entire life.
If you did the same thing, it wouldn't bother me at all. He says Chud put the word rape in his thumbnail. That means I can't point out how his rape analogy with React content is silly.
As I'm trying to establish, Willy
What?
is never here for the nuance. He doesn't
Wait,
care
why
what's actually written or why it is
would that
right
mean you
or wrong.
couldn't?
He is just looking for anything he can, regardless of how much out of context or how distorted his presentation, that can fit the
Damn it.
narrative he is trying to craft. With that all being said, it's important to remember why Willy was making this video in the first place. He wanted to defend his fellow drama associate, Chud Logic. In Chud's re-upload of my video, in the thumbnail, it says explicitly, raped by Jack.
You were trying to make a point which Carl has already explained to you why it was stupid.
What the problem with the analogy is the mindset is completely different. So someone can actually believe that what they're doing is fair use. And, the fair use is only something that a court can decide. No one can spike a drink thinking that what they're doing is legal. Okay, so the mindset is completely different. Therefore, they don't think they need consent, and therefore they're not coming from. They might not be an immoral person whatsoever, and they might not have any bad intentions whatsoever, and can still be re-uploading content in a way that they believe is fair use. Someone who spikes a drink is always going to be
going to have evil
As
intent.
I've tried to make the case, statements
The
that
intention
make,
can
like,
vary.
oh, I'll take down the video if you
It's
tell
not
me
the
you want it to be
same.
taken down, or I'll pay money if people reach out to me, showcase that they know what they're doing is wrong to some degree.
Nobody knows if what they're doing is wrong because there is no data or court decision on this kind of content. They're just being amicable.
There is.
Capable of understanding that because he's
H3.
socially inept. He thinks I'm a hypocrite because
Court
I called
decision was
Destiny a
on
retard
this
in
kind
a
of
past
content.
drama, and then went on his podcast years later.
Willy does not believe many of the things in which he says, nor does he actually care about anything that he says. There's so much that I could show to establish this, but I won't spend too much time on it, but I would like to touch on a few things. For example, his statements about Destiny a few years ago.
Why are you comparing a live stream to a YouTube video?
Out of
Because
context.
Copyright law doesn't change just because you live stream it. I think Destiny might just be kind of a retard.
Actual retard.
A literal retard. I did a debate about the videos I made on him. And I opened, hey, did you watch any of the videos? And he goes, no.
You might think the reason why I bring this up is because it suggests that Willy is a person who will just flip-flop on anyone whenever convenient if he thinks he can get some views out of it. Or that perhaps Willy will make very confident statements about people that he barely even knows just because he thinks it will get views. Or maybe, depending upon your perspective, that Willy will say very confidently things that are entirely untrue and then realize years later like, oh I just talked out my ass you know, that shit wasn't actually true. Or maybe that Willy does.
Or maybe his
absolutely no
opinion just
research on
changed
people
because
and
he
just
got to
says
know the
whatever
guy.
He
Jesus.
feels like, regardless of how true, because he knows it will get clicks and views.
Does he give any examples of how? Nope.
My point is to say that Destiny has been around for so long that every false claim Willy makes about me is actually true about Destiny. He has actually done every single possible negative misstep that a person can have in a content creator.
I mean,
The drama was
probably
just
that
critical
part's probably
reaction
true.
of you. It was a trending story. Where
Destiny
did
has done
do
just
that?
about everything you
have
can
such
do
a
wrong
great
and
video
survived. He's
planned
like the
on Destiny.
cockroach
Go
of
big.
internet
I could tell there's times
of
when
internet
he's almost
debate.
having fun during this drama. He's trying
He's
to rip on
uncancelable.
Nick, but he's never had friends to do this with, so he's struggling.
Nicholas Diorio, as is a. So there's a guy named Nicholas DeDrio, which is his other friend, and
what the fuck was that?
He looks like a circle.
Yeah, call him fat, Matt.
He is perfectly circular in a way that I've never seen a person before.
Oh, dude, that was so good.
And like, I don't like to mock a person's physical appearance. It's not.
Wow, you're bad at
my
this.
wheelhouse.
If you're gonna
But
roast the
I can't
man,
help but
roast
laugh
the
whenever
man.
anyone calls him Nicholas Diorio because he looks like an Oreo, right?
Just call him fat.
Oh, Matt, slow down. You're gonna burn down the whole house with these roasts.
But I heard of a story, like just scrolling stuff, where it's like, because I don't like bring up stuff from like 4 years ago, but like 4 years ago, he was on Twitter, and he posted a picture of him with a girl to insinuate that he had a girlfriend, and the girl comes.
Way to go, Nick!
The girl comes and like immediately says, haha, we're just friends. And so people widely mocked him because he tried to pretend to actually be in a relationship or whatever.
This was just Nick showing that he was at a bar during COVID, which was a rare thing at the time. But apparently it was widely mocked over this one like tweet, according to Matt.
But like, Willy hangs out with the lowest of the low, the most laughable, pathetic people on this platform, and then seems to pretend like this isn't the case.
I'm sorry. I guess I can't hang out with fat people. My bad. To wrap things up, the reaction content dialogue needs more data for me to really care about it. I do think Matt being a spaz has made this whole thing a massive pain in the ass for him, but he's also the only reason we're even talking about this stuff, so I want to give him props there. We'll see what he does. Matt is making another video on me. I will probably respond at some point, so subscribe to the channel and buy a fume. Shout out to the homies over on Patreon. Crimson Glass.
Oh my god. Dude, somebody send my reaction clip to Dark Viper. I want to argue with him. I want to have an actual debate. I want to hear his response to the reaction content is just commentary, like director's commentary. It's not replacing the views of a video. It's a companion piece to it. I want to hear his reply to that. God, how has no one made that connection yet and had that argument with him? Please, Willy, Nick, Tom, or Dark Viper, if any of you stumble across this video or YouTube, the YouTube's gods bless me in the algorithm and feed it to you, please bring this point up to him, or please counter this point yourself, Dark. I want to hear it. Oh my god, dude.